So how can you become the most trusted voice in your space, in your industry? Well, I found there's 5 keys, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hey folks, Marcus Sheridan here, and let's talk about how you can become the most trusted voice in your space. I have worked with some amazing companies and brands on this very subject, and I find, generally speaking, there's 5 main characteristics or steps that you need to take. So let's address each one individually. Number 1, you see yourself as a teacher. Yes, as a teacher, your sales team, your marketing team. You say, we are teachers. So when little Johnny or Jane is raising their hand, do you actually call on them and answer their question? And do you answer their question in a way that they actually understand you? Do they feel like they have been fed? Do they feel like the light bulb comes on? This is the essence of great communication. And this is the essence of a great teacher. And a great teacher designs that lesson for that specific class or persona, prospect, customer. You see where I'm coming from. So the question is, do you have the teacher's mindset? That's step number 1 to becoming that voice of trust. Number 2, you got to be willing to call a spade a spade. What do I mean by that? Let me give you just one super simple example of this. You sell probably a product or a service. Do you openly talk about who your product or service is for and also who it's not for? When somebody comes to you that's clearly not a good fit, do you try to make it a fit, or do you say, you know what, we're not the best fit for you? That's what calling a spade does. And when you do it, you become so much more believable and real and unbiased to that prospect, and they will tell people about it, and that's how you build your tribe. So call a spade a spade. That's number 2. Number 3 is, are you willing to address the good, the bad, and the ugly in every industry? B2B, B2C, service, product, doesn't matter, y'all. There's good, bad, and ugly. There's stuff that's happening in your space that you know isn't necessarily good, and there's other stuff that's happening that's great. But are you willing to talk about those things? Let me give you just a couple simple examples. You know, I own a swimming pool company, and we have the most trafficked swimming pool website in the world, and we became that voice of trust. But we did that by addressing issues that we saw that were potential flaws within our space. Let me give you an example. It used to be that all fiberglass pools were built on sand. So in other words, you dig a hole and you would set them on top of sand. Well, that's dumb. I mean, you don't build a house on sand and you don't build a driveway on sand. Why would you build a pool on sand? Because what does sand do? It moves and it settles. And so we openly talked about this problem, how it was important to install it on gravel. And today, most pools, because of this education, are installed on gravel. You see how that works? Gotta be willing to call those issues out. And if you're willing to address them, now you're gonna improve your industry. And again, you're gonna be seen as that expert, as that major voice of trust. And that is number 3. Number 4, they know it's not about them. In other words, it's not about you, the company. There's one star here. The star is always the customer, the prospect, the community, the audience. That's the star. You see, trusted companies, they're not looking to impress anybody. They're not looking to say, yes, we're the brightest and we're the smartest and we're the thises and we're... No. They're just looking to make sure there's communion with their audience, and they know that the audience is the one that need to focus on. It's not about them, and that's why they're always thinking about that. It's like, how do we make this about our audience and their needs, their questions, their problems, their worries, their concerns, their issues that they're having, their wants, their desires. That's what it's all about. And that's number 4. And finally, number 5, they're willing to be so transparent that they would actually talk about their own imperfections, their own issues. And if you have watched me for any period of time, you know there's different times when I'll go and I'll look back and just reflect on where did I screw up. I screwed up a lot of places. My swimming pool company is honest about this. As a speaker, I'm honest about this. I mean, there's been times when I've totally blown it. But when I make a wrong decision and discuss that openly and discuss what I learned from it, now that draws people in, that vulnerability, that willingness to open yourself up and say, you know what? We haven't always been perfect, and here's some of the mistakes that we've made, but this is what we've learned along the way of making those mistakes, and this is what we're now doing so as to not prevent them or not allow them to occur anymore. So those, my friends, are the 5 things. And if you do those 5 things, I really mean this, you're going to become that voice of trust. You're going to be the voice people turn to when they have that question or that need. You're going to be the ones they refer their friends to. That's what it's all about. That's what business is. And if you enjoyed this video, as always, make sure you subscribe. Now, my friends, let's go get to work.